When Blessy first came to me with the idea of making Jeevitham into a film, the book was already a smash hit. Not just Blessy, but multiple filmmakers both in Malayalam and outside of Malayalam, even in Hindi.
Okay.
But talking about getting the rights to this book and making a film on it, I knew back then what I was getting into. I knew that if I said yes to it, the greatest justice I can do to the story and the man who actually lived the life is that if I'm not prepared to go through that process, I should politely refuse. But what I did not anticipate is that, I would go through this entire physical transformation and then the pandemic would strike. I mean, I don't know how many people know Akshay sir as a man out of cinema, He's a really nice guy to be with. He's very inspirational that way. And then I also got to know the man a bit as a father because Aarav had come. The way he is with his family, with his son, he's just one of those guys who I think if you know him better, you really tend to like. The overbearing memory of shooting Jeevitham for me more than anything is hunger. Because I wasn't eating. So I was hungry every day. And I'd be watching all these people eating and I'd be hungry and angry and hangry and then suddenly the thought would strike me, Najib must have been hungry. He must have been hungry.
Yeah, indeed.
And he wasn't hungry by choice. He didn't have a nutritionist supervising your calorie count. He didn't have a doctor on standby with an IV and a BP apparatus ready. He did not have a trainer who's monitoring your heart rate. So just shut up.
Hi guys, this is Ankita. You're tuned to Bollywood Bubble, and today we have with us Prithviraj and Jimmy G, or I should be calling him Jimmy Boy, as Prithviraj has instructed me for Aarav Jeevitham. Is it good to call him Jimmy Boy?
Yeah, that's the only way to call him.
It's cool. Yeah, if he says so.
Why then Jimmy Boy? Please just break the ice.
He's a cool dude on sets. Yeah. He's the big black guy who roams around in swimming trunks and gives all of us a complex on how good he looks. So
I totally get it. It's like his Lucifer direction film and the Lucifer combination is coming to merging in a universe.
Yeah.
I can sense that for you. But sir, I'll begin it with you. It was a tough film, not just only on the papers, but how you executed it. Blessy sir's 16-year-long vision to bring something to life. You yourself are a filmmaker in a manner, I would say a complete filmmaker who can act, direct, produce. That when you see such a long project coming to life, what does it make you feel as an actor and filmmaker both?
So firstly, I'm in awe of Blessy because it is impossible, next to impossible to pull off what he's done. And I mean this in all honesty because when he came to me with the film in 2009, he was, as he is today, one of the most coveted filmmakers of our industry. Every big star in Malayalam back then wanted to and today wants to do a Blessy film, right? I mean, when he came to me with the film, a Blessy film was one box all of us wanted to tick off at least once. And he was the highest paid filmmaker of Malayalam industry back then. And for a person like that to decide, I'm going to just put aside everything and just be with this one film for this long because this is what I want to do, is just incredible superhuman conviction. And that is not conviction that every man can claim to have. I'm not sure I have that. So I am in awe of Blessy, the filmmaker, Blessy, the man. And it's an absolute privilege to be part of that vision and to be able to facilitate that man's dream. That's all that I can claim of having done in this film.
The reason I ask you the same is when somebody holds a vision for this long, there is also a possibility that you lose the sight of the end goal.
Exactly.
There are
Exactly
ultimate
why I'm in
distractions
awe.
around you.
Yeah, exactly why I'm in awe because not only was the journey so long, but the journey was also completely obstacle-ridden.
He didn't plan it to be that long.
No,
let's clarify. He didn't think it was going to take him 16 years.
We thought it was going to take us 2 years.
Yeah, exactly.
It was going to take us 2 years. It took us 16. And the pandemic and obstacles and other challenges and location challenges and finding Ibrahim Qadri, the character that Jimmy is played in the film is an absolute fulcrum, pivotal character of the film. You see it, you'll know. People who have read the book will already know.
Yes.
All these are big challenges. And never once did he lose sight of what he wanted to do. I mean, I remember in between there was a forced break of almost 1.5 years, 2 years almost because of the pandemic.
Yes.
Then we landed up back in Algeria, day one of shoot. And Blessy seemed like he was shooting yesterday. Because he knew the next shot that had to be done after the last shot we did 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Because he never lost sight of what he wanted to do.
That's one thing I've noticed with him as well.
Yeah.
He's so precise
yes.
with what he wants.
Yes.
It's just very clear vision on everything, and he's very calm as well. So
Yeah.
Jimmy, how did you come on board for the project?
I was just contacted from, I think I don't know who contacted me first, and then I had a phone call with the group, including Blessy, and then I read
You were contacted by a filmmaker called Nirmal Sahadev,
Nirmal, exactly. That was the
who's-
first connection.
who's my associate director.
That's from you then. All right, that's what it is. Okay, because I was trying to piece things together. I didn't
He's
know.
the creative director for the film I'm currently shooting, currently
Okay.
directing. Yeah.
Okay.
And his debut film had me playing the lead in it.
Yeah. All right. You see, all that backstory I didn't know. Here I am.
But I'll ask you first. How was it your experience to shoot for a film? Because it also took a couple of years from your kitty as well. You also given a lot of years.
Yeah.
As an artist who does films in multiple languages, did it somewhere affect your other schedules also? Or were you so committed to this one particular?
Yeah, there's always, you always have to make things work, at the end of the day, and also you have to prioritize what you think is worth prioritizing. Yes, we made it work, what we were filming, and also even me coming here was a challenge because it's a long way out for me. It's like 24 hours from LA to here, and I had to sort of play around with some of the other stuff that I'm doing to be here. But I thought it was necessary to be here to support the movie. Because I really believe in what we've done. I witnessed it myself. Going through that journey was amazing. Working with the cast and crew, and also the message behind it. I think it's a story that needed to be told, and hopefully, people will just go out there and see what has been created by the vision of Blessy.
Prithvi sir, Najib's story, if you go by it, it's not an easy one to anyhow process.
Yeah.
But when the role came up to you, did you ever realize that, or did it take something from you? Because it's not just the physical transformation, not the couple of years you have put in.
Yeah.
And shooting in multiple languages, then dubbing it, it stays with you. You
Yeah.
have to change your emotions with every word you speak in every other language.
Yeah.
How was this character for you? How it panned out for you?
So, Najib's story came to light. The world came to know of the man through a book that was written on
Yes.
his life by Bade Miyan Chotey Miyan, who's
Yes.
also the story writer of the film,
Yes.
called Aarav, The Goat Life.
The Goat
The
Life.
English translation of the book is The Goat Life. The Goat Days, I think. I'm not sure. I've read only the Malyalam one. So, when Blessy first came to me with the idea of making Aarav into a film, the book was already a smash hit. Everyone was talking about Aarav and Najib. And I personally know, I know this actually as first-hand information, that back then, not just Blessy, but multiple filmmakers, both in Malayalam and outside of Malayalam, even in Hindi,
Okay.
were talking about getting the rights to this book and making a film on it. But as destiny would have it, it was Blessy who managed to procure the rights. And for some reason, he thought, I'm the actor who should be playing Najib. So back then, the conversation was in the industry was already there that, oh my God, this book will have to be made to a film. And who is that lucky guy who will get to play Najib? And it came to me and I'm like, yeah, sure. But I knew back then what I was getting into. I knew that if I said yes to it, there'll have to be a significant investment of time, effort from my side. And I also knew that the greatest justice I can do to the story and the man who actually lived the life is that if I'm not prepared to go through that process, I should politely refuse.
Exactly.
Once I said yes to it, I knew that there was no holding back. I had to throw myself at it. But what I did not anticipate is that, I would go through this entire physical transformation and then the pandemic would strike.
Yeah.
And then we would have to suspend shoot for almost 2 years. And then I have to do that again, a second time.
How many pounds did you lose?
I think 31 kilos, if I'm
which
not
is
wrong.
about 70 pounds. Yeah.
I was going to ask him next. He just mentioned, so I'll ask him.
Yeah, so the plan was that I put on as much weight as I can
Yeah.
for the beginning portions of the film,
Yeah.
so that the transformation seems all the more drastic. So when I started losing weight, I was way above my usual weight.
Yeah.
So the first 8-9 kilos were like, and I was thinking, this is easy,
Yeah.
But once you come down, let's say about 5 to 8 kilos more than your normal weight, then your body just shuts down. It just refuses to lose anymore.
Of course.
But then it was like, I kept telling myself, this is once in your life. don't mess this up.
Yeah.
Don't mess this up. I'll tell you why. Because my biggest worry was that if this film would then release and if my effort was not good enough and if I had not given enough of myself for the role, if there is someone who would see the film and say, Blessy should have maybe cast a newer actor, I mean, somebody who's not so big or not so busy, so that they could have given more to the film, who would have valued the opportunity more, that would have crushed me. I can guarantee nobody's going to say that.
Because I read, I think you said in a recent interview, please correct me if I'm wrong, that you were also very clear that Najib went through that entire ordeal and struggle all by himself. You still had nutritionists, trainers there to monitor and see how your health fares. That was the least you could do, is to definitely not lose the sight of the part, how it's supposed to look like.
So I've said this too multiple times, that the overlying memory, the overbearing memory of shooting Aada for me more than anything is hunger, because I wasn't eating. So I was hungry every day.
You're fasting?
Yeah. So I was hungry pretty much every day, and I realized when I wake up I'm hungry, when I'm filming I'm hungry, when I go to bed I'm hungry. Because even when I break my fast and eat something, I'm not eating enough to feel satiated.
Yeah.
So I'm always hungry. And there were days when there would be a lunch break on set, obviously, and the entire crew would be sitting inside a tent and having lunch, and I'm just sitting there eating nothing. And I'd be watching all these people eating, and I'd be hungry and angry and hangry, and then suddenly the thought would strike me, Najib must have been hungry. He must have been hungry.
Yeah, indeed.
And he wasn't hungry by choice. He didn't have a nutritionist supervising your calorie count. He didn't have a doctor on standby with an IV and a BP apparatus ready. He did not have a trainer who's monitoring your heart rate. So just shut up,
It's harrowing. Jimmy, were you also there when the crew got stuck in Jordan and it became a national highlight?
Thankfully, no.
I'm about to say, unfortunately not, because I would have loved to live that experience. But no, I wasn't there. No, I was stuck. For that pandemic, I was stuck in Egypt for a little bit, and then I went back to
You're close
LA.
by then. Yeah.
Huh?
You're close by then.
Yeah, I was very close by. Yeah, I didn't know about that project by then. It's only when I got back to LA that I got that message from
So
your
the 2-year pandemic forced break brought in a lot of changes for the film, and as now I believe it's divine intervention, because all those changes were for the better. Because most of Jimmy's portions come in the portion of the film where Najib finally manages to escape. And we initially had planned to shoot the escape in Egypt. We had gone and seen locations and all to shoot in Egypt.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And because of the pandemic, when we had to restart international travel regulations, permissions regarding filming, everything was quite complicated. We couldn't pursue our plan of shooting in Egypt. And finally, we ended up going to Algeria, to a place called Timimoun, in the middle of the Sahara Desert. I don't think any film crews made it there. I think it's impossible to make it there. But that change came about because of the break. And my God, that terrain! I mean, it is just one of the most stunning places on earth. And it's and I say stunning, it's not the kind of stunning where you want to go on a vacation.
No, you want to see it once, but that's
but
it.
It's visually.
Yeah, but we were there for like more than a month. So
yeah. Imagine being somewhere and all around you, 360 is just desert and sand and nothing else.
Then you realize you're just a molecule in this entire universe, and your significance is technically nothing.
Yeah. I mean, like, there are shots in the film where, so when they escape, they lose their way, and there are these shots in the film where they are running up a sand dune, thinking they've reached somewhere, and finally the camera reveals that there is nothing, and that's the exact same experience. Like when the first time I went to location in Timimoun, so from where we were staying, which was not a hotel, it was more like a guest house or something. So we used to be taken to our shooting spot on these 4-wheel drive SUVs because we had to drive over dunes. As the car is climbing each dune, you're thinking you're going to see something behind the dune, but it's just sand. It's all over. There's no end to it. You don't realize how massive the Sahara is,
It's daunting. I happened to go to Jordan last month for.
Oh, okay. So I was also there for the same shoot.
For the BGCM, and then your relationship, I think, with Jordan is pretty much solid. I should be saying.
So it's funny because Ali Abbas of Ali, the director, I was in London shooting for my directorial, and he calls me and he tells me, listen, I mean, I need you to give me these 3 days to shoot that one scene and the portions of that song. So please, you have to somehow make it. I said, yeah, I'll find time and come. Where is this being shot? And Ali is like, oh, we are shooting it in a really nice place called Aqaba. I said, oh.
I know it.
And he's like telling me, oh, you don't know, it's very pretty, it's very beautiful. I said, oh, really? Okay. And so I...
you never told him that you...
Yeah, so then I told him. But when I landed at Amman airport, they had people to receive, the Bade Miyan Chotey Miyan team had people to receive me. And as I stepped off the aero bridge, the airport staff were like, oh, hi, hello. And the Bade Miyan Chotey Miyan team is going like, what? I'm like, chill. Now let me tell you what Jordan is about.
I'll show you the Wadi Ram to a car. But Prithvi sir, you and Akshay, I think this is one of those, for me, that is also a Bade Miyan Chotey Miyan kind of combination now. I think we are used to seeing you together. There is a vibe check between both of you.
He's just I mean, I don't know how many people know Akshay sir as a man out of cinema, you know. He's a really nice guy to be with and very inspirational that way. Very inspirational and, you know, you spend time with him. He's very inspirational as an actor because of how much he gives to the craft, how professional he is and how much, you know, he's a superstar, but you look at him and you realize how much this means to him. You know, he still is up at 4 a.m. and he's so strict with his diet and lifestyle and all that. And he's on set early morning. And you'll never see Akshay sir tired or, you know, like when he's called for a shot going, you'll never see that. He's very inspirational that way. And when you hang out with him more and more, you that sort of, you know, it rubs off on you. You're thinking, man, I mean, he is doing this, so you better pull your socks up. And then I also got to know the man a bit as a father because Aarav had come and hung out with us for a while and when we were in Glasgow. He's just a really, and the way he is with his family, with his son, is just, I mean, I don't know if I'm allowed to give out so much information about Akshay sir, but he's just one of those guys who I think, if you know him better, you really tend to like him. So, yeah.
I think I have heard it from somebody else as well that Akshay behind the camera is a completely different man than what people know Akshay in front of the camera.
Yeah.
Jimmy, if given a chance, would you like to work with Prithvi again, but in a typical easy film setup? Not this difficult. We'll not take you to desert. We'll take you to the lovely Malyalam films, lovely locations, nice food, nice clothes. Would you do it?
I'm going to Haiti.
Well, first of all, I'm not running away from a difficult set.
Yeah.
Number one, of a difficult shoot. But number two, yes, I would love to do another movie with Raj, you know, in India. Maybe if it has to include some of those dancing and singing.
Have you seen any of his work?
Sorry?
Have you seen any of his previous films?
I've seen clips. I've seen clips of, and then he showed me some stuff as well when we were there. But I've seen clips because I had to research Blessy, him, and that was it. Because Amala, I didn't do much with her. So yeah. But I'm still researching about the Indian cinema. You know, I'm still trying to understand who's doing what, because I think it's fascinating to see how that cinema has grown and the effect it has to the rest of the world, you know. Now you have Indian movies being released in America, specifically that target the Indian audience, but slowly people are starting to be aware that, you know, those movies are actually making quite a bit of money. So, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if I see more and more Indian movies, you know, going out there. So
definitely.
So I'll be interested to do more stuff here for sure.
Our cinemas definitely global. I am not taking that away. Prithvi sir, last question, because it has come all the way down south. What are you directing next? Because there are so many speculations I've been asked by so many people. I'm like, this, that. I'm like, I'll Prithvi sir. When
no, but I mean, I'm already shooting it. It's on floors. I'm directing a sequel to my first film, which was Lucifer,
of course,
with Mohanlal sir. So I'm directing that film now. Everyone knows it's a 3-part franchise.
Yeah, that I'm aware.
Yeah, so the second part of the franchise is being shot as we speak, and I just finished my schedule in the US, and I flew in from the US, and in fact, I finished my last day of shoot in Tucson, and my flight out was from LA, and I'm just walking around in the duty free in LA, and there's, hey man,
that was so funny. I mean, the last time I saw him was in the desert of Jordan, and now here we are at the airport. I'm seeing, I didn't have a clue that he was going to be there.
Yeah.
So it was a nice little surprise.
So we flew together from LA, and our connection to Cochin was from Dubai. And Dubai, I walked into the aircraft, and there's Rahman sir next to me. So,
Yeah.
The reason I asked you what you're doing next as per director is because I was talking to a couple of friends here who extensively look at South cinema, and they're like, ask him when he will be having a film which will have even the Hindi actors in it. I'm like, I'll ask him before I sign off the interview.
I mean, see, I'm primarily an actor, and I direct like once in a while. So I mean,
You're in demand.
No, I mean, I've been honored to have like major production houses from Hindi cinema ask me if I'd like to do a film, like with big stars and all that. I've had, so even as soon as my first film released, there was a discussion of doing that film in Hindi and if I would direct it. But I'm not someone who will ever direct films back to back to back. My primary craft is acting. I'll direct a film maybe once in 3 or 4 years, and there are only so many films that I really want, like I feel like I want to make. So I don't know. Yeah.
Well, guys, you have to wait for a little more time till Prithvi sir commits something to us in the audience this side. But anyhow, there are films for the global audience to watch. And thank you for bringing stories to fore. And a shout out to, I know I couldn't talk much about it due to time, but A.R. Rahman's music. I mean, when I saw the trailer, I had goosebumps because I knew that something was coming. And
yeah, I mean, he's a magician, and you know, every magician will have a couple of those absolute bring the house down tricks, and this is one of them.
And I can't wait to experience that magic. But thank you so much, Jimmy, and I hope we shall see you soon doing the dancing part, and then next time I meet you, there are more dancing clips.
You know, I used to be a dancer. You know, that's why I'm not scared of it. So we'll see.
Okay. You should have told me that first. I would have asked you to dance here and give me a nice
next time around.
Next time, but thank you so much, Jimmy. Thank you so much, Prithvi.
Thank you so much.
Nice one.